All right, here we go. So now I remember one thing, one topic for you all, and it's perspective, right? It's the idea or concept of how you look at things, how you perceive things. Yeah, so the way you perceive things, the way you see things, becomes your reality, right? You see all these cars out here, right? They're driving, they're going about their day. To me, I start to look at them as support, as potential people that can become inspired by what I'm doing out here, that see a crazy guy running and juggling and could be pushed towards that direction, towards wanting to make the most of themselves or push themselves beyond their limits and ultimately attain more from their life, right? It doesn't have to be running and juggling, right? It doesn't have to be exactly what I'm doing. Obviously for success you can copy others, and is that for me? I don't know, but obviously, and you want to know that success leaves clues. It's a great thing to copy people, copy their steps, right, in attaining what you want to attain. It could expedite your process, make it a lot quicker and easier for you, save you time, money, everything. But you want to be yourself and do your own thing and do the things that you love. When we have people in our way, blocking the crosswalk, making us subject ourselves to the road. And what you could say is I could easily perceive that too, is like these people are selfish, they're cruel, they're evil, right? They only care about themselves, right? They're blocking the street, obstructing my sidewalk, and it's not that it's my sidewalk, but it's the one I'm on, it's the one I'm using to run and run to wherever I'm going. But obviously when I go running, I'm gonna have obstacles in my way. I'm gonna have things that cross my path that I may not completely agree with or want to deal with, but guess what? They're still gonna come at me, right? I'd be foolish to go out here and run and do all this stuff and think that I wouldn't encounter anybody, that I wouldn't encounter any traffic or red lights for me, right? A red light for me is a good thing. It lets me go because no car's gonna come. But a green light, right, and cars are going and making me have to stop, I can look at that as like an annoyance, like, oh man, I had to stop again, this sucks. Why not just throw myself in the middle of the street and force everyone to stop, I get angry and use my rage and channel it towards those people. But that wouldn't be the right thing to do, that wouldn't send off the right message, that wouldn't be a proper allocation of my time, right, for those people, right? It would be very selfish of me in a sense. And just like that guy backing up and showing his unselfishness and being nice, we really appreciate that, when people do those things. But you can't expect them, you can't count on them to always be there. That would be like if you're going out and driving and you expect everyone else on the road to be an amazing driver, to look out for you, to want the best for you, to avoid collisions for you. But guess what? It's not always going to be like that. There's going to be people that raise the chances of an accident happening, that instigate problems on the road, that drive crazy, that push you in a sense of danger, that increase the risk for the other drivers, which is pretty unfortunate. But what are you gonna do? The only way to avoid that is to get off the roads completely, but you can't. You gotta get on them, you gotta go to work, right? You gotta wake up and get in your car, get on your way to the gym, right? There's no other way for you to get there. So you have to go and encounter these people and encounter these obstacles. You know, I'd hate to boil it down to that, you know, although you can't completely classify them as that. But, you know, to you, in that moment, they are putting an obstacle in your way. You know, a hurdle that you gotta jump over and go around. You know, and that's not to say, you know, that, you know, oftentimes too when people are presented, you know, a hurdle or a challenge like this pull, they can either stop, you know, and completely give up, right? That would be foolish. Let's say I saw this line right here and I completely stopped one of it. And I told myself, there's no way I can get through it. There's no way that I can navigate through that sign. And right now we have a huge burst of wind coming at us, and we have a car backing up that doesn't see us. Right, and it's very easy to stop and complain and get angry, right, at everything going on. But you gotta keep going. You gotta persevere, right? You gotta stay, you know, along your path, along your journey, and trust your intuition, trust your gut, right, in helping you make the right decision along the way, because that's what you're doing, right? To get forward, you have to trust in what you've done before, what you've done in the gym, what you've done in practice, what you've done in rehearsal, everything that you've done, because when it comes time to shine, the time to perform, you've got to step up and show yourself and not, you know, do things half-heartedly. Then we're gonna keep talking. What is up? Man, I like it better when the cars are facing us, not when we're giving our back to the cars, because we can't, you know, show our, you know, affirmation, you know, properly. I want to look that guy in the eye, you know, and say hello, right, and be able to see them, right? And if God forbid it's a dangerous situation, you know, there's a hazard on the road and they got to go around and possibly hit me, right? I could see them before they do that, right? If I was going the other way, I would see those cars coming forward, but behind me, it's a different story. I don't have eyes on the back of my head. I can't see, you know, everything going around me. I don't have a 360-degree view of the world. I only have my eyes in front of me, and, you know, I think it's 270 degrees or whatever angles, or 180 that we can use to look at, and that's fine. I gotta work with what I got, right? And let's say, you know, you weren't born with all the limbs, but you were born with only one leg, and you want to do, you know, all you want to do is run, right? And let's say you were afflicted with that, right? You have that unfortunate occurrence, you know, having that, right? And what do you got to do with that? You know, you can't go out and run if you don't, you know, put conscious effort into it. If you don't, you know, strive to give yourself that opportunity, right? And that's the same to be said if you wanted to juggle and you don't, you know, have the equipment, but you don't have, you know, the materials, because a lot of people in developing countries and so forth don't have access to a baseball, a football, or a basketball, or any sort of ball or object to juggle, right? They got to use rocks or different things. You know, I remember, you know, as a kid hearing stories and wanting to play baseball, and I had the opportunity to go into the store and purchase a glove, you know, a sporting goods store, Sports Authority, and I could simply go and get a new glove or a new bat whenever I wanted to when my old bat broke. But one thing I saw was a documentary, you know, on Dominican baseball players and other players that come from foreign countries outside the US and want to play baseball and want to improve themselves, but sometimes they don't have access to Sports Authority or Dick's Sporting Goods or all the places that we have, you know, at our disposal here in America. And what did they have to do? They had to grab milk cartons, you know, to use as gloves, as sometimes to use tree branches and sticks as bats. And you know what it taught me, you know, is how fortunate I have it here, right? I have that opportunity, you know, to play with those things, to play with a glove and a bat made by a company in Louisville, Kentucky, or whatever, specifically designed, you know, to give me the best performance possible in baseball, or simply just sell me a product, but that's a byproduct of it. So, you know, from that, and you could also say that those guys practicing with the milk cartons and the sticks, you know, when they come to America and they're able to use that equipment that we have here, they'll be so much better because they're used to playing with so little. They're used to their options being small or limited. So when they come to this newfound abundance of items at their disposal, or just simply better equipment, they can play better because they come from a harsher background, a harsher, you know, lesser resources. So when you increase the resources, they're able to become more resourceful simply based upon what they had before, because that's an argument that Tony Robbins brings up, is that it's not about simply the resources we have, but our resourcefulness, our ability to apply, you know, what we have, you know, the things that we are given, and make the most of them, right? For some, it's the schools that we have in our neighborhood, right? The churches or parks, you know, to play in. A lot of those kids don't even have parks, and they still want to play ball. So they play in the street and have to worry about getting hit by a car and all those things, but they learn how to deal with it. They learn how to become resourceful. And that's what we want to do. You don't want to complain about what you don't have, but you want to make sure that you damn well enjoy what you do have, because not everyone has what you have. I'll tell you that. And yeah, there you go.